Just ahead on First at 5, the suspect in Rochester's serial murders is arraigned in city court.
Today on First at 5, Arthur Shawcross pleads not guilty to those slayings. And police tell their story of how they found the suspect.
We'll also tell you why the downtown Sibley store is closing, and a review of the new Tom Cruise movie Born on the 4th of July.
The weekend weather and a Bills-Browns preview all next on First at 5.
From WOKR, Rochester, this is News Source 13, First at 5, with Diana Weichman and Doug Embledge.
A convicted killer out on parole is in court again, charged with more murders.
He is Rochester's accused serial killer, Arthur Shawcross. Police sources are connecting him to as many as 11 women's deaths.
Good afternoon. The case suddenly came together yesterday.
Diana, police went on the record today about their major break in the case. Since then, a lot has happened, and it took place in a hurry. Police sources say their investigation had started the lead to Arthur Shawcross even before their big break. They had no name, but they say they had witnesses providing helpful information in recent days, and that a composite drawing turned out to be a good likeness to Shawcross. But the big turn of events came during a search of Northampton Park in Sweden on Wednesday. State police in a helicopter had located a body and then spotted a car nearby. The chopper followed the car to a Spencerport nursing home. Police on the ground identified the driver as Shawcross. He was not arrested then, but was watched and later taken in for questioning. Sources tell us he then led police to more bodies, that of Darlene Trippi, her body found off Redmond Road in Clarkson. And in Greece, another missing persons case cleared up with the discovery of Maria Welch's body off Island Cottage Road. We were given the official information during a morning press conference held here at State Police Troop B headquarters in Canandaigua. Law enforcement agencies that had been part of this investigation were represented. The room was crowded with local and national media. On the other side of the table, police and prosecutors who said they couldn't provide many details no matter how many times they were asked.
I've said what we can say, and we can't really say anything more about the defendant's case.
We have a legal system in New York State that prohibits prosecutors and police from disclosing information ahead of the trial.
They did say Shawcross pled not guilty to 8 counts of second-degree murder in city court this morning. He was arraigned this morning on the following murder cases: Dorothy Blackburn, Anna Marie Steffen, 58-year-old Dorothy Keeler. Police said today it was her skeleton found in the gorge last October, and Patricia Ives. Also Frances Brown, June Stotts, Felicia Stevens, and Darlene Trippi. Police say they will present 3 more cases to grand juries: the deaths of Elizabeth Gibson, June Cicero, and Maria Welch. These 5 cases have not been linked to Shawcross, and the investigations continue. Shawcross is being held in the Monroe County Jail without bail. He served 15 years in prison for manslaughter in the deaths of 2 children in Watertown, was paroled in 1987, and he's been working at G&G Foods on East Main Street. He is married and has a girlfriend. For police, this was a day to celebrate the end of one of this state's most grueling investigations.
I always believed that we were going to solve this case. I felt that with the effort that was going into it, that it would be impossible for us not to solve it. I was never sure that it was going to happen quite as quickly as it did. But I think when you work hard, you make your own breaks, and we got a lucky break here. But the work effort that went into the investigation is what's going to end up providing us with a successful prosecution in the case.
And we learn more about this suspect. The mother of Arthur Shawcross has told Associated Press that her son's Army service in Vietnam made him a sick person. She lives in Jefferson County, New York, and she says she hasn't spoken with her son since he was charged with killing 2 children 17 years ago. Mrs. Shawcross adds he was, quote, a normal boy until he went to Vietnam.
Isn't it also an interesting sidebar or side note that the arrest came yesterday on Chief Urlacher's 25th anniversary with the Rochester Police Department?
All the police departments today praised each other about cooperation. They said it was a textbook example of cooperation between police departments. I did talk to a police source today who added a little something about the suspect. I think some interesting perspective. They said during the interrogations of Mr. Shawcross, he showed no remorse. They said he showed no conscience. Interesting note. We'll find out more about him in the weeks to come, I'm sure.
I'm sure we will. Well, today we talked with some of the people closest to the women who died, their friends and family. One, Jim Miller, the boyfriend of Maria Welch. Peg Rasconi asked if there's a sense of relief felt today now that the killer is behind bars.
I tell you one thing. Yeah, I know where she's at now. And we can lay her to rest and know that she's not laying out in some snowbank covered with snow and ice. I know she's gone to heaven.
The violence of the killings aside, Rochester's Deputy Police Chief Terrence Ricard says today was, in a deeply moving way, a rewarding day.
This morning at 9:46, I had the opportunity of issuing probably the best order in my career as a deputy chief. I called Major Johnston and asked that our Victims Assistance Unit advise the victims' families that the case has been brought to a conclusion.
Deputy Chief Ricard joins us now live. You were almost moved to tears at this morning's news conference, and you even thanked God for helping this case come together, didn't you?
Yes.
Can you describe some of the emotion that you felt in announcing this?
I think it's a fantastic relief. We're able to finally bring some peace to the families of the victims, and we're able to put behind us the most major investigation in the history of the Rochester Police Department, and for a lot of police departments in the country, one of the largest in the nation. It's a feeling that we can now get back to the business of the department that we were faced with beforehand. Not that we'd left anything aside, but the concentrated efforts drew a lot of attention within the police department to the solution of these cases. It also gives us the opportunity of letting our officers spend some more time with their families and their activities. Many of our officers miss Christmas and miss Thanksgiving with their families, have missed weekends, and have put in many, many long hours. And it's a chance too for them to get some rest from the investigation.
You and so many others have worked awfully hard on this case. Do you have any indication from all the time that you've spent on this what the motive might have been?
We do, Diana, but unfortunately we can't discuss that. That's part of the evidence that will be presented by Mr. Saradusa in the prosecution of these murders.
Okay, because we've heard so many reports to this date about the relationship between the suspect that's in custody now and some of the victims. They knew each other in many cases, spent time together, and I think it's awfully difficult for many people at home to imagine what reason there might have been for all of this.
I can definitely agree, and of course that was the source of a lot of police speculation before we made the arrest. However, you as a news person and news media in general can make those speculations, can talk to the families, can come up with some ideas, but as police people who are looking to prosecute the case with the district attorney's office, we're not able to make those comments.
I fully understand. Deputy Chief Terrence Ricard, thank you for joining us live on our program today.
Thank you, David.
Well, as we've said, there have been at least 16 women killed over 2 years' time, and they have left behind many people who cared for them, family, and friends. These are some of the faces that for some reason became caught up in all of this violence. It's true, we have so many more answers today. But again, many more questions still remain on this issue, and I think you'd probably agree with that, Doug, especially spending so much time out there today.
Diana, tonight at 6 o'clock we will examine why Arthur Shawcross was in a position to commit these crimes. As you know, he was convicted of killing 2 children in the early 70s, but was put out on parole.
Well, Patrice Walsh will research his criminal past and talk with the man who prosecuted Shawcross so many years ago. That report for us tonight at 6 o'clock.
There are other stories today, including the announcement that Sibley's is closing its downtown Rochester store.
Ginny Ryan will have that story along with some other changes in store for Sibley's in Rochester.
And now with a look at traffic, here's Tom George.
Doug, fairly uneventful on the highways this afternoon. If you're heading out or expecting somebody home on the west side, westbound's running a little heavy and slow with stop and go from the downtown area out. We spotted an accident on 390 northbound of the 490 split. No big issue, though. The only thing stacking up in the can is northbound 590. It's backed up to its usual spot, Highland. We'll be back with another look. From Traffic Source 13, I'm Tom George.
I'm flying! There you are! Where have you been? We've been waiting for you. Why, there's over 1 million people in there sweating to the oldies, and you're missing all the excitement. Well, don't worry, because we're moving this aerobic party to your house with Sweatin' to the Oldies 2. And honey, if you thought the first workout was a blast, then you ain't seen nothing yet. Because with Sweatin' 2, the party's just begun. one sequel that has no equal. You'll dance your pounds away in a funky 50s diner as my blistering hot rock and roll band pumps up the volume with a brand new performance of your favorite golden oldies. The only thing you'll find on this diner's menu is exercise. From legs to stomach to buns, we'll serve you up the best low-impact workout you've ever experienced. And to keep you motivated, I've invited a whole new group of friends for you to party with. I promise you, you'll find someone in this video who'll inspire you to keep sweating on. Yeah! Hey, now what's a party without a gift? Well, I've got one for you. It's my brand new Take a Walk audio fitness cassette. You just plug it into your Walkman, open your front door, and off you go. You'll walk your way to a better you, and it's yours free when you order Sweatin' to the Oldies, too.
Richard! Stop talking and get in that box.
Just a second, Mother. So, if you missed the first party or don't want to be left out of the second one, this is your chance to join the bus. Mother!
Oh, I said let's go!
Ow, ow, ow!
Sweatin' to the Oldies is not sold or rented in any store. You can get your copy by calling 1-800-472-5200. That's 1-800-472-5200. Remember, Richard's Take a Walk audio fitness cassette at $12.95 value is yours free when you order. So call 1-800-472-5200.
It has been a disappointing day for downtown Rochester. The May Company, owner and operator of Sibley's, announced the closing of its downtown store and a name change, ending a 122-year retail tradition in the city. Jenny Ryan reports.
Fresh from making Christmas returns, Gloria Light was shocked to learn she may never be able to return to Sibley's. The company says it's pulling out because there aren't enough Glorias going downtown. She says the customers are not to blame.
I don't think they're obligated to come downtown. I think downtown has to be attractive enough for them to come.
If the customers didn't feel any obligation to shop at Sibley's downtown, apparently the out-of-town company that owns and operates Sibley's didn't feel any obligations either. When it opened the skywalk that links Sibley's and McCurdy's downtown in July, the company said it would stand as a symbol of its commitment to downtown. It has left Sibley's chief rival sorry to see its competition go.
We believe that competition is very good for people, so we like to have good competitors near us. And Sibley's over the years has certainly been a good competitor, there's no question about that.
The block-long store is a city landmark. The closing is certainly a setback for efforts to revitalize downtown, but the mayor thinks it may be a reflection of the store itself and not downtown.
Well, I think it was a question of the quality of merchandise. It certainly wasn't in, keeping with the tradition that Sibley's had established for a long period of time. I think anybody, in terms of the people that shop downtown, certainly indicated that.
Only time will tell if it's downtown or the store. But if time is any indication of the seriousness of the closing, Mayor Ryan was on the phone this morning trying to find another retailer for the building. Jenny Ryan, News Source 13.
Well, by the end of April, Sibley's will be called Kaufmann's after the Pittsburgh-based retail company with which it is being combined. By the end of January, the May Company expects to announce when the downtown store will close. Diana?
President Bush says the United States is freeing up $4 million that had been frozen under sanctions against Manuel Noriega. Bush calls it a first step in revitalizing Panama's economy. Bush also commented today on the criminal case against Noriega. He says no concessions will be made.
The Attorney General assures me that our case is strong, our resolve is firm, and our legal representations are sound. Our government is not seeking a deal with Noriega.
Glenn Johnson will have our weekend forecast coming up next on First at 5.
And Mike Sidoni reviews the new film, Born on the 4th of July.
Why are they fighting us? Because it is a lie. The truth isn't there.
Thanks to you, for many of the less fortunate in our community, this holiday was a little brighter, a little warmer, a little healthier, a little more joyful, and a lot more fun.
With the help of Volunteers of America, WOKR 13, Wegmans, and First Federal Savings, you brought the true spirit of the season to those in need. Thank you for giving a gift from the heart.
When your body says, mentholatum says, yes, you can.
Mentholatum Deep Heating works like a penetrating massage. A warm, relaxing massage to help you get going. Mentholatum Deep Heating says, yes, you can. And now, Deep Heating Sports Spray to help get you back in action fast.
I can't believe I put on all this weight.
You can't buy the food at every party. Let's resolve to eat right.
From Tops Country Fresh Farms natural chicken and Golden Trim light beef to Tops brand products with nutritional labeling, Tops has what you need to eat right year-round. Right now, during Tops Diet Sale, you'll save in every aisle. Plus, you could win a California vacation.
You look great.
Tops Diet Sale, it's worth getting to.
Tops never stops. Something's happening here for you to see. Here on Jeopardy, with trivia's fun on your TV. Yeah, it's guaranteed. There's a full house here, with daughters, dad, and uncles draw you near. Yeah, don't disappear.
Join us right here on
WOKR 13.
Meteorologist Glenn Johnson joins us.
And I think when the weekend comes around, we all take maybe a more keen interest in the weather.
Of course we do.
Glenn, have you found that to be the case?
I would say so. Yeah, that's probably so, because everybody's got a little extra time on their hands, and if you want to get outside, you're hoping that the weather is not too bad. The skiers, I'm sure, are heading down to the ski mountains. They're hoping for the winter-like weather, and I think we have a combination of both. Let's take a look at our present conditions now. We do have the mostly cloudy skies. The temperature is down to 31 degrees. It is noticeably cooler compared to what we had this time yesterday. Yesterday, temperatures were up around 48 degrees. Relative humidity is high. The winds are fairly light out of the southwest, and the barometer is holding steady. Here's a look at the national satellite picture. We're not getting much in the way of any real winter weather. Who is getting some of the nasty weather? Well, look down to the south. You can see the band of clouds that are extending from Texas right in through the Carolinas, and of course they're getting it in the form of rain, and it looks like they're going to have a very wet weekend on their hands. Now, if we go down below the clouds, you can see the national radar. They do have a couple of rain showers and a lot of thunder showers, actually. And the good news is that most of that heavy, steady rain will stay to our south, and it looks like we will not have a problem as we head into the weekend. Now, national temperatures around the country, nothing all that extreme. Conditions have really evened out. This is what you expect to see this time of the year. 30s up around our neck of the woods, and then gradually warming up as you head down to the south. And of course, north of the border, that's where they have the really sub-zero weather. And it looks like we're not going to have any problem with that, at least through the weekend as we see it right now. Now, we were expecting to get a little bit more in the way of sunshine, but we did not get as much as we expected. You can see one patch of clouds right in through western New York. This is the 3D satellite picture, and I think a lot of those clouds will hang in there today, but we're hoping to see more sunshine as we head into the weekend. And let's take a look at our forecast then. For tonight, we will find mostly cloudy skies. Look for a couple of snow flurries here and there, but again, nothing that's going to give us a problem. If you're going out into town, just bring a winter coat. It should be a fairly pleasant evening. Temperature down to about 25 degrees for the early morning. So Doug and Diana, no weather worries as we see it right now, and we'll keep folks posted on what we can expect for the weekend at 6 o'clock.
There's no question that we've had worse weekends.
We sure have. And
not too long ago either.
Yeah, and I think everybody's looking forward to the break in the weather, which we've had the last couple of days, and it looks like we'll continue to have into the weekend.
Okay.
Thanks, Glenn.
You're welcome.
Born on the 4th of July, starring Tom Cruise, he's been nominated already for 5 Golden Globe Awards and has critics raving. Our reviewer, Mike Sidoni, says this Vietnam drama is certainly worth a look.
I heard that you were going into the Marines.
Yeah. If Born on the 4th of July is nothing else, and it is, it represents a landmark in the career of Tom Cruise. Almost always a hot box office property, but rarely a critical favorite. Now he's got the best of both worlds. Cruise is simply splendid, at his best ever as real-life Ron Kovic, a gung-ho Marine who did 2 tours of duty in Vietnam, but his tune changed after he was shot and paralyzed and came home. Kovic went from the far right to the far left and became one of the war's highest-profile protesters, even if he was born on the 4th of July.
Truth is that they have killed a whole generation of young men.
At its best, 4th of July is a stirring salute to the Vietnam vet, one that sheds some light on why those who fought, fought, and why those who protested, protested. And it's Cruise who keeps both perspectives convincing, that in spite of director Oliver Stone, who does not know from subtle. In other words, Stone, yet again, has directed with a sledgehammer. This is a movie with some moments that do burn into your brain, but it's a movie that also burns out, thanks to Stone's lack of confidence in the viewer. Still, you just gotta see it, if only for some of those spectacular segments, and to watch Cruise, Hollywood's hottest property, finally put in a performance that deserves all the attention. On my scale of 1 to 10, Born on the 4th of July rates a 7. Mike Sidoni, News Source 13.
It's interesting to see Tom Cruise looking so different.
He didn't look like Tom Cruise in that movie, but looks good.
Still to come in sports, the Bills and the Browns are ready for tomorrow's game.
John Kutchko is in for Mike Catalano, who is in Cleveland. John will have a preview and all the sports next.
How you celebrated Jeopardy says a lot about you. There's the smasher.
What is a straight flush? Yes!
The high five with belly bump.
Who was Pavlova?
The spiker.
Who was Beethoven?
The Twickenham School of polite hand clapping. And of course the revelry reflex. Jeopardy, the most fun you can have with your brain.
Jeopardy, weeknights at 7:30, only on WOKR 13.
Through the magic of remote control
at Snow Country's January ski clearance.
And I'm taking up to 50% off selected ski clothing.
Wrong channel, Mitch. I'm not taking up to 50% off ski clothing with some of the best skiing still ahead.
But I'm also taking up to 50% off selected ski equipment.
Mitch, there's not a remote possibility of taking up to 50% off ski equipment this early.
Skiers, don't be turned off. See me for up to 50% off during Snow Country's January ski clearance.
The McDonald's Happy Meal is now only $1.99. No matter which Happy Meal you buy, the hamburger, cheeseburger, or 4-piece chicken McNuggets, you get the same great taste, the same great toy for only $1.99. That's a very Happy Meal.
McDonald's Happy Meals now feature a funny fry friend in disguise to sneak up and take your fries.
No way! Look, a space zombie! What space zombie?
Enjoy a Happy Meal with your kid at McDonald's.
Give me back my fries.
Saturday is the day you've been waiting for. It's McCurdy's Warehouse Sale from 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. Brighton Henrietta Town Line Road. Savings you can't afford to miss. McCurdy's Warehouse Sale.
John Kutchko is in for Mike Catalana.
Boy, big weekend in Cleveland, huh, John?
Yeah, the winner to go to the AFC Championship game. Two well-matched teams going at it in Cleveland. You know, the Bills arrived in Cleveland this afternoon. Tomorrow, their AFC divisional showdown with the Browns. Two teams that have had their share of struggles this season. Two quarterbacks who have had their share of ups and downs as well. Both Bernie Kosar and Jim Kelly have a lot in common. Both came from the University of Miami. Both are good friends, and mutual respect is felt, especially from Bernie Kosar.
Yeah, we've played each other a couple of times, but, you know, not in the playoffs, and it's been well documented that me and Jim are friends, and, you know, we get together in the off season, and I think I have a lot of respect for each other's abilities on the field.
Well, a full docket of high school basketball in the area this evening, and to get you excited for the busy schedule, we've got our coaches poll just released, hot off the presses. Let's check out the large school category. Number 1, McQuaid, followed by number 2, East, then Mendon, Gates, Chalai, and Rush Henrietta. I can tell them for you. And then the small schools, Clyde, Savannah, followed by Livonia, Honeoye, Pavilion, and Honeoye Falls, Lima. So, and everybody's been waiting for that to usher in the big, busy night of high school basketball. Don't forget, tonight at 6 o'clock, we will have more from Mike Catalana, who is in Cleveland. He'll have a preview of that big game tomorrow between the Bills and the Browns.
All right, very good, John. Thanks a lot.
Yep. Thank you. If you're still waiting to become a multi-millionaire, here is your big chance. The state lottery jackpot is up to $35 million. The drawing is Saturday, that's tomorrow. The third largest prize ever for the lottery. Now today's numbers on Wall Street.
The 80s, a decade of firsts for Rochester from News Source 13. Rochester's first and only locally based weather radar. Rochester's first early morning newscast. Rochester's first and only closed caption news. Rochester's first early evening news. Rochester's leader in television news, continuing its commitment into the 90s. Rochester's choice, News Source 13.
We provide radar not only to the TV viewers, but to several radio stations. We provide radar information to several private utilities. They all look upon us as being the experts. That's a role that we will continue to fill. I've been here 8 years working with Rochester Radar. Glenn Johnson's been here 5 years working with Rochester Radar. And we know how to best use the equipment to give you, the viewers, the best picture of what's going on around Rochester that can be had. We are the radar experts in this community.
At Wegmans, getting your holiday pictures developed is convenient. At stores with 1-hour photo labs, your film will be expertly processed by Wegmans photo technicians. Quality guaranteed by Kodak's Color Watch system. We can answer your photography questions. In many cases, your pictures are ready at checkout.
And when it comes from Wegmans, you know that it's our best. This is Wegmans' best.
At Wegmans Photo Centers, every holiday, you get our best.
The bridal event of the year, the 22nd Annual Bridal Showcase, Sunday, January 7th, Holiday Inn downtown, presented by Bridal Hall and WOKR 13. See the world's foremost designers of bridal fashions, Rochester's bridal show of shows. Win a Caribbean trip for two on American Airlines, courtesy of VIP travel service. Sign up now for your free tickets at these participating merchants, or call Bridal Hall 225-3500. Bridal Showcase, January 7th, Holiday Inn downtown.
Well, the worst of it this afternoon is on the west side, where it is now stop and go on 490 westbound, starting at the Troop Hall Bridge heading out of the city due to an accident in the left lane of 490 westbound just before Mount Reed. And that problem also has the inner loop westbound badly backed up heading out to the 490 westbound merge. All of this should improve very shortly, though. It hasn't been a bad week or a bad afternoon, but since the holidays, Doug and Diana, I could get used to Mondays off. But I had to check with reality. We have a full 5-day work week ahead of us. From Traffic Source 13, I'm Tom George.
I don't know if we can approve that for him.
No, I don't think it's in our jurisdiction, Tom, but we'll check with the boss. Don Elhart and Patrice Welsh are in the newsroom tonight.
And we're going to check on 6 o'clock.
Following up, of course, the top story of the day, the arrest of Arthur Shawcross today, and a question that a lot of people have been asking: how can someone who is on parole be in this area and not be aware of it, and why was he let out of prison?
Well, he was eligible for parole. He had served a majority of his sentence, and he could have been released after just 1 year, Don, because it was just a manslaughter conviction in Watertown. It was not murder, and a lot of people don't understand that, or perhaps still won't accept it. People in Watertown didn't accept it at the time, and we'll have more on that.
Okay, all of that coming up, of course, tonight at 6. We hope to see you then.
It's just been such an active day and so many things happening in that case.
In the last 24 hours, a lot to tell you about. Of course, at News Source 13 at 6, we will have some more details on the events of these last 24 hours.
The People's Court is next.
And then News Source 13 at 6. Have a good night.
News Source 13 closed captioning is made possible by Wegmans.
From WOKR Rochester, this is News Source 13 with Don Alhart, Diana Whiteman, meteorologist Bill Peterson, and Mike Carolina on sports.
Looking tired and worn, a man who has confessed to the serial slayings of Rochester area women walks into court.
His confessions lead police to 2 more bodies removed from the snowy ground today.
And after years of unanswered questions, police breathe a sigh of relief that the search is over.
These people have spent hours, days, weeks, months. They didn't see a Thanksgiving. They didn't see a Christmas. They didn't see their families for days on end. But they brought the killer to justice.
Good evening. Developments on several fronts today in the case of Rochester's serial killer.
Arthur Shawcross, the man who is the confessed killer of 11 women, had his day in court today. We have several reports. The first from Warren White, who was in court when Shawcross was arraigned on multiple counts of murder. Warren?
Well, Don, Shawcross's appearance is no doubt the first of many in court as prosecutors build their case against him. He pleaded not guilty to multiple counts of murder. At this stage of the legal process, an innocent plea is automatic. The arraignment was quick. It answered some questions and prompted others.
44-year-old Arthur Shawcross is no stranger to the court system. In 1987, he was paroled after serving 15 years for the slayings of 2 children in Watertown. In Rochester City Court today, he faced 8 counts of intentional murder. The judge read the victims' names.
Darlene Trippy, June Stott, Frances Brown, Patricia Ives, Dorothy Keller, Anna Steffen, Dorothy Blackburn.
Shawcross pleaded innocent and is being held without bail. Court records reveal little about what kind of man he is, but they did contain a name of a prostitute who dated Shawcross twice several months ago. She spoke to us today from her home, but would not appear on camera.
There's nothing to remember. He's just nice to me. I don't know why he's going around killing all these girls for. If he's the one, yeah, I had the right guy.
Shawcross lived in a tiny apartment at 241 Alexander Street. The building manager and other residents say they were shocked when they heard of his arrest. There also was a surprise at G&G Food Service on East Main Street, where Shawcross worked nights for about the last year. He cleaned the warehouse and stacked shelves. Company officials described him as a quiet man. They say they had no knowledge of his criminal past.
And comment today from Shawcross's mother, who lives in Jefferson County. She says she hasn't spoken to her son in 17 years, but she contends his experiences as an infantry soldier in Vietnam changed him. He saw hard combat and was wounded. While Shawcross has been charged with 8 killings, he allegedly has admitted to 3 others. Additional charges could follow grand jury proceedings.
Have we been able to determine at all, Warren, why these women were killed?
Well, some sources close to the case indicate that he may have become angry at some of his victims for one reason or another, but one investigator said that when he asked Shawcross why he allegedly killed one specific victim, Shawcross answered that he didn't know.
Okay, thank you, Warren. You know, it may be helpful at this point now to review the names of those women killed over the past 2 years and which of those has been linked. First, those whom Arthur Shawcross is charged with killing. Dorothy Blackburn, Anna Marie Steffen, Patricia Ives, Dorothy Keeler, also Frances Brown, June Stotts, Felicia Stevens, Darlene Trippy, although her positive identification has not yet been released by the medical examiner this afternoon. Now, we add to that the cases of 3 women that will be presented to a grand jury. Shawcross is believed responsible for the deaths of Elizabeth Gibson, June Cicero, and Maria Welch. That makes a total of 11 deaths linked to Shawcross. And finally, those cases still unresolved: Nicola Gursky, Rosalie Oppel, Jacqueline Dicker, Linda Lee Himes, and finally, Kimberly Logan. Those are some of the names, of course, that we have for you now.
Now, while Shawcross was in court today, bodies of 2 of those victims were pulled from the snowy ground. 2 bodies were removed today in Monroe County, one off Island Cottage Road in the town of Greece, and the other in the town of Clarkson off Redmond Road. Reporter Donna Lacey was there when the bodies were removed today.
This is Donna Lacey. Meeting daylight, police began at dawn investigating, where last night the suspect pointed out 2 bodies. Police first combed where 22-year-old Maria Welch was located in a frozen swamp area near Island Cottage Road in Greece. Welch had been missing since November and was linked to prostitution. Police won't say much about the body's condition.
Okay, that'd be part of the investigation, and we can't reveal that at this time.
The next scene was in Clarkson, where 32-year-old Darlene Trippy's body was located near Redmond Road. State police removed her body, embedded in ice, out of a drainage ditch. They surmised she had been there over a week. Trippy, also linked to prostitution, had been missing since last month.
This was the last one to be recovered, pending any further investigation or ascertaining that there are any more out here to be recovered. As far as we know, this is it, hopefully.
Included among the 11 women Arthur Shawcross is believed to have murdered is 58-year-old Dorothy Keeler. Keeler's skeletal remains were discovered in the Genesee River Gorge last October. Police had never identified Keeler. Shawcross did. Now police believe the latest victims will be the last. Donna Lacey, News Source 13.
And so now that it appears to be over, those left behind are reacting with some relief. Peg Rasconi has that story.
The recovery this morning of Maria Welch's body from the woods along Island Cottage Road means a long wait is over. For police, it means the end of a 2-month search for a missing woman. Welch disappeared from the Lyle Avenue area November 6th. She leaves behind a 7-month-old son and the baby's father, Jim Miller. Although today's discovery ended all hope of finding Maria alive, it also ended the agony of waiting and wondering.
I know where she's at now, and we can lay her to rest and know that she's not laying out in some snowbank covered with snow and ice.
Miller says he feels nothing but rage for Shawcross, who has not been charged with Welch's murder, but whose sources say led police to her body.
If I'd just like to get my hands on him for about 20 minutes, it'd be the sorriest day he ever was born. And now you see what he's done to these human beings that live from day to day.
Frances Brown was one of those victims. Her grandmother says she's relieved someone has finally been charged. She feels nothing but hate for Shawcross.
I just hope he gets what he's got coming, that's all. But I hope it's not a long life in jail, because he shouldn't be living. All them girls are dead in count of him. He should be dead.
Brown and Miller say they'll never accept the way the women died, but with a suspect in custody, the healing process can at last begin. Peg Rasconi, News Source 13.
Just as relieved, of course, are the scores of investigators who have been working to break the case of the serial killing since they began 2 years ago. David Burns was at the State Police Barracks near Canandaigua today for the official wrap-up for the press.
Most of the key facts of the case were already out this morning as police agencies gathered to declare that the search for the serial killer is over. They called it the Victory Team, but the Most Valuable Players Award probably should go to the helicopter crew that spotted the suspect, Arthur Shawcross, during a search Wednesday for more bodies near Northampton Park.
Senior investigator John McCaffrey was the person who observed the body from the air at the end of the vehicle pulling away, and the two pilots also at that time are back here, both sergeants, Sergeant Mark Wadopian and Sergeant Kenneth Hunt.
But police say luck wasn't everything in breaking this case. Sources say the investigation had already identified Shawcross as a leading suspect.
I refer to them as the Victory Team. These people have spent hours, days, weeks, months. They didn't see a Thanksgiving. They didn't see a Christmas. They didn't see their families for days on end, but they brought the killer to justice.
Police and prosecutors alike refuse to say just what made them so confident that Shawcross will be convicted of the killings. For now, they are simply relieved that a long nightmare appears to be over thanks to an unexpected turn of events.
The two pilots and the investigator that were in that aircraft may have been flying the plane, but I think the hand of God was also on the control. Thank you.
David Burns, News Source 13.
Residents all across the state are following this case, especially in Watertown. As we mentioned earlier, Arthur Shawcross admitted to killing 2 children in Watertown back in 1972, one of them an 8-year-old child from Rochester. Why was this man paroled? Patrice Walsh is in the newsroom with some answers.
Diana, Arthur Shawcross was turned down 6 times before being paroled from Greenhaven Prison. That's in Dutchess County. That was back in 1987. A reasonable worker with a good prison record. That's how state parole officials describe this man, Rochester's alleged serial killer. They say those factors contributed to Arthur Shawcross being paroled in 1987 after he had served 15 years of a possible 25-year sentence. But the man who prosecuted Arthur Shawcross for the 1972 murders says he never should have been released so soon.
Do you feel he served enough time?
Well, obviously he didn't serve enough time, but again, I have no control over that. That's entirely up to the parole board.
Do you think he should not have been let out?
Again, from what's happened, I would say he should not have.
Watertown residents were upset when Arthur Shawcross was convicted of manslaughter rather than murder for the killing of 2 young children. McCloskey says, though, the case against Shawcross was too weak, so the charge was reduced to manslaughter so it would stick. Shawcross could have been paroled after serving just 1 year in prison, but parole officials say they kept him until 1987 because of the nature of the crimes. More controversy surfaced when Shawcross attempted to relocate after his release from prison. Public outcry, first from residents in the Albany area, then from those in Binghamton, apparently drove him here to Rochester. Parole officials say Shawcross had no parole violations. He was visiting his parole officer monthly, and he appeared to be handling life outside of prison rather well.
And Patrice, I think that's what surprised people who lived around him so much, and also the families of the victims as well.
That's true, Diana.
Okay, thank you for that report, Patrice Walsh.
Well, still to come tonight, will your shopping routines be changed?
Sibley's downtown will be closing its doors. We'll have that story next.
Saturday is the day you've been waiting for. It's McCurdy's Warehouse Sale from 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. Brighton Henrietta Town Line Road. Savings you can't afford to miss. McCurdy's Warehouse Sale.
Share the warmth, share the glow. There's no soup like Progresso. Welcome home, say hello. There's no soup like Progresso.
When you taste Progresso, you know it. There's no soup quite like it. Progresso has that sunny Italian flavor, a special goodness all its own.
There's no soup like Progresso.
Don't miss the Big Dome Boat Show this Wednesday through Sunday at the Dome Center in Henrietta. There are more boats than ever before and more than 20 dealers ready to help you cruise into the 90s in the boat of your dreams. Take advantage of special boat show incentives. This is the one show you can't afford to miss. Save $1 on adult admission when you click any of our newspaper ads. The Big Dome Boat Show this Wednesday through Sunday at the Dome Center in Henrietta. The serious boat show for the serious boat buyer.
Check the content of some advertising media, and this is what you'll find. Maybe that's why year after year, this one carries so much weight with your customers. The official Rochester Telephone Yellow Pages, the one to turn to.
A 122-year tradition in downtown Rochester will soon be history. Sibley's Main Street is closing, and by the end of April, it will be called Kaufman's Department Store. The May Company, owner and operator of Sibley's, announced the closing this morning, much to the surprise of many shoppers.
There's no department stores that are good to shop at that are downtown, because I live over in Cornhill, and this is convenient for me, so I like to come down here and shop. So it's too bad. It's too bad to see all these things downtown is kind of going downhill.
After constructing an indoor skywalk and spending millions renovating Main Street, Sibley's closing is a setback for downtown. But Mayor Ryan doesn't put the blame on downtown entirely.
There's been a level of disappointment as far as the type of store that the May Company operated here. In addition, they had closed their stores in downtown Syracuse and downtown Buffalo within the last year and a half. So that there seems to be a trend.
750 Sibley's downtown workers will be laid off by the store closing. Mayor Ryan has asked the May Company to find other jobs for the workers. A closing date should be announced at the end of January.
Well, still to come tonight, John Cusco will be by with sports as the Bills and the Browns prepare for that big playoff game in Cleveland.
And a look at the weekend forecast.
Weather-wise today, kind of an uneventful day, you might say. But the question is, will it stay quiet into the weekend? Well, we'll have all the details and a complete look at the forecast coming up next.
You're looking at a roofing material that can't ever rust or corrode. That's incredibly easy to install, even over old roofing. That's ideal for virtually any type of building and is backed by the roofing industry's strongest warranty. Its name is Onduline. Now that you know what it is, all you need to know is where to get it.
Available at Archer, Brockport, Nunde, Rochester Lumber, Rogers and Tenbrook, also distributed by Georgia Pacific.
For those who appreciate exceptional quality and design, DFC offers Keller. Solid wood creations at remarkable prices. Classic styles in oak or maple. Beautifully detailed furniture from America's Midlands. It's on sale at DFC, 1455 Jefferson Road, 2 miles east of Marketplace Mall.
Come share the spirit of a distant land, Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay, Florida.
Celebrate the sunrise, celebrate the day. Celebrate the life you live. Let your soul play, let your soul sing. Let your soul laugh, let your soul love. Let your soul dance. Your soul is filled with happiness when the day comes to an end. But soon enough tomorrow comes and your soul can dance again.
Busch Gardens at Tampa Bay, no place else.
This portion of News Source 13 is brought to you by North Star Bank.
I think Glenn summed it up very well. Kind of an uneventful day out there.
Yeah, nothing
spectacular.
Nothing you can really say about it. We did get a little bit of sun from time to time, but if you blinked, I think you missed it during the day. You probably did. We wish we could have got more sunshine, but I think we'll find more sun as we start heading into the weekend. A nice, quiet weekend coming our way. We're going to take a look at the almanac. We'll show you some of the numbers for today. Very typical for this time of the year. We did get up to a high temperature of 36. The overnight low temperature only down to 29. Not as cold as it really should be for this time of the year. And look at the records going back to 1946. In 1904, we got down to 14 degrees below zero. We do have the cloudy skies now. The temperature is still holding at about 30 degrees. It is below freezing, of course, and some slick spots on the roadways. Could be a little bit slippery, but should not be a big problem tonight if you're going out on the town. Relative humidity 75%. The winds are still light out of the southwest, and our barometer continues to fall. A lot of our weather spotters calling in today said, you know, we saw a little bit of sunshine, but it just didn't last all that long. Then the clouds would quickly move in, and I think the clouds are going to be off and on right into the weekend. Here's a look at some of our temperatures around the region now. 28 degrees over at Syracuse, 32 at Elmira, 30 degrees over at Buffalo, and tonight we'll probably drop down into the mid-20s. Nothing all that extreme, maybe a few stray snow flurries here and there. Now, who's getting all the nasty weather? We'll go to the national satellite picture. You can see a big swath of moisture that's actually coming out of Old Mexico, the subtropical jet feeding into the system, but you can see most of this is staying to the south. Where they're getting the heavy rain now is in through Texas, Louisiana, and in through the mid-Atlantic states. It's all in the form of rain. They're going to have a very wet weekend. It will not move to the north. You can see a patch of clouds right in through west New York, and that's what really blocked out all of our sunshine today, and another weak system in through the upper Great Plains that will slowly drift through for the upcoming weekend. Of course, the big Buffalo Bills football game this weekend over at Cleveland should not be any problem. No harsh winter weather. They'll find a mix of clouds and sun, temperature about 35 degrees. And here's the system that'll be moving on through. Looks like the really cold weather is going to stay up in Canada. We should have no problem with that. Our next weather system that's going to bring us any kind of significant weather, I think, is really going to hold off until about Tuesday. So we have a good couple of days now of some fairly quiet weather. Here's a look at our forecast map. Come Saturday, high pressure is going to build in. We'll find a few patchy clouds around for the early start of the weekend. For Saturday, we'll break out into some sunshine, and actually not a bad day as we head into Sunday. Temperatures are going to warm up again, close to about 40 degrees. And then our next weather maker begins to get organized again. That'll come in sometime around Tuesday or Wednesday. Here's a check of our weather forecast for the remainder of tonight. If you're going on into town, no problem. You need the winter coat, but no problems with the snow. We'll find a few snow flurries here and there. By morning, temperatures down to about 25 degrees. And for Saturday, start of the weekend, we will find a few patchy clouds in the morning. Look for more in the way of sunshine by the afternoon. And we'll call it seasonal temperatures, just about where they should be for this time of the year. High temperature close to about 35. And for Sunday, well, we'll call it partly cloudy. It'll be milder, close to about 40. And then some of that rain or snow combination will come in Tuesday, developing storm system. And we'll keep you updated on that. But right now, it looks like a pretty good weekend.
Okay. Thank you, Glenn.
Sure.
We take a look at Wall Street now. On this final day of the week, the stock market fell again today. The Dow Jones Industrials lost nearly 23 points. Decliners led gainers by a 3-2 margin as over 159 million shares were exchanged. Here are some issues of local interest. And John Kutchko up next with sports.
All right, Don, coming up on News Source 13 Sports, the Sabres make a recall from the Amerks. We'll have more on that. And the Bills are in Cleveland and ready to meet the Browns. Sports Director Mike Catalana is there as well.
This is Mike Catalana at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland. How will the Bills' defense match up against the Cleveland offense? We'll have a preview coming up next in sports.
It's a little word, but the word yes makes things happen, especially when spoken by North Star Bank's lending officers. It helps more businesses produce a better product. More families find a better home. More children get a better education.
To us, that's more than a positive outlook on lending. It's a positive outlook on life.
Good evening, this is your TV13 ski report. None of our ski locations reporting any new snow. Bristol Mountain has a 20 to 50 inch base, 22 trails are open. Swain has loose granular conditions, 15 trails. Greek Peak has a 10 to 25 inch base, 13 trails are open. Holiday Valley has wet granular conditions, 20 to 40 inch base. Hunt Hollow has an 18 to 48 inch base, 17 trails are open. And Brantling has a 10 to 30 inch base, spring conditions with 3 trails open.
Idle & Gentry Carpets presents our half-off January carpet sale. Over 800 rolls of better quality carpet are now half-off. Pad and installation are now half-off. Our entire stock of beautiful area rugs is now half-off. Carpet remnants are now more than half-off. Buy now, interest-free for half-off. You mean half a year, Tony.
But Gary, you told me to say half-off after everything you said.
Don't miss Idle & Gentry's half-off January carpet sale.
If you love skiing or want to learn, enter WOKR 13 Ski It to Believe It giveaway. You and a partner can win a week of skiing excitement at Vail, Colorado. 7 days of lodging, lift tickets, and round-trip airfare. Register to win at Bristol Mountain or Swain Ski Center. Or go to any snow country, track and trail, Sportacular, or Country Gentleman Ski Shop. Then on January 12th, the winner will be announced during the News Source 13 6 o'clock news. If you love skiing or want to learn, then enter WOKR 13 Ski It to Believe It giveaway today.
The bridal event of the year, the 22nd Annual Bridal Showcase, Sunday, January 7th, Holiday Inn downtown, presented by Bridal Hall and WOKR 13. See the world's foremost designers of bridal fashions, Rochester's bridal show of shows. Win a Caribbean trip for 2 on American Airlines, courtesy of VIP travel service. Sign up now for your free tickets at these participating merchants, or call Bridal Hall 225-3500. Bridal Showcase, January 7th, Holiday Inn downtown.
This portion of News Source 13 is brought to you by Cortez Dodge.
Big weekend for Bills fans to find out if they're going to keep on rooting or will it all come crashing down. Hopefully we'll keep going.
Yeah, we'll see. Two very well-matched teams going at it tomorrow. Should be a great game down. The Bills are ready to meet the Browns tomorrow in their AFC divisional matchup. The winner advancing to the AFC Championship game. Sports Director Mike Catalana is in Cleveland and takes a look at two teams that have had their share of ups and downs this season.
In the 40-year history of the Cleveland Browns, this franchise has made the NFL playoffs 22 times. But this season, just like the one for the Bills, has been somewhat of a struggle. In particular, it's been a struggle for the Cleveland offense.
Bills fans know all about the problems that Jim Kelly has had this year. His struggles left the Bills with a very inconsistent offense. But Kelly wasn't the only Pro Bowl quarterback to have his problems. Bernie Kosar has been hurt, he has been booed, and he was almost benched.
Well, that comes anytime. The quarterback is generally the recipient of a lot of praise when you win, and he's definitely the recipient of a lot of negative stuff when you lose, and that's just part of the job.
I mean, he's been throwing the ball pretty well, and he's been throwing the deep ball. He's been sailing out there a pretty long way. So, I mean, I'm sure it's everybody's arm gets kind of sore, but quarterback's arm. But he's had an extra week to lay off, and I'm sure he rested it quite a bit last week. So, I don't anticipate that he'll have any problem.
While Kosar struggled, the Browns found a new star, running back Eric Metcalf, who's had some injury problems, but he'll play Saturday.
He's real elusive, and after he catches the ball and the ball is handed up to him, he runs with it real well. So all 11 guys going to have to run to the ball when he has the ball and try to keep him, within reason.
Running back Kevin Mack has had a season of turmoil. Saw him be suspended for drugs and then injure his knee. But now he's back, he has fresh legs, and he could be the key player on Saturday.
In a way, the play of Kevin Mack kind of epitomizes the season for the Cleveland offense. Problems all year long, but it all seemed to come together at the end. And the result was the AFC Central Division title. Now tomorrow, on these less than ideal field conditions, Mack and the Browns offense will see if they have enough to send the Bills home for the season. With the Bills in Cleveland, Ohio, Mike Catalana, News Source 13 Sports.
And we'll have more from Mike tonight at 11 on the big game tomorrow. In hockey, the Amerks will be in Springfield tonight. Rochester looking to move toward the top of the Southern Division. They're 5 points away from division-leading Baltimore. Today they got some news from Buffalo. Rob Ray has been called up for the Sabres. He will play tomorrow against the Canadians. That's sports.
Okay, thank you, John. And more to come from News Source 13.
We'll be right back.
At Cortez, we have an offer that you can't afford to dodge. For the first time, you can get a rebate on a Dodge Caravan. There are also big rebates on all other new Dodge cars and trucks, and a guaranteed rebate from Chrysler if you buy now. Cortez has a great reputation and the best selection of Dodges in most of New York State. So hurry. If you want to guarantee a happy new year, Dodge every dealer but Cortez.
Announcing the Maytag year-end sale. Your best chance to get a low price tag on a dependable Maytag. You'll find low price tags on Maytag washers, plus a 10-year warranty bonus on the transmission, and free Tide. Low price tags on Big Load dryers with permanent press cycle, and Jet Clean dishwashers with 5-year wash system warranty.
Now more people than ever won't need me.
Save on Maytag now at Hoffman Appliance 2 locations and Rosen Sullivan all locations.
Pizza Hut has an offer on new Sausage Lovers pizza you're gonna find irresistible. A 3-sausage sizzle smothered between 2 layers of cheese. Now get one for $8.99 or a second for just $4 more. Now that's a deal with some meat to it.
Pizza Hut, making it great.
And for lunch, try a personal pan pizza guaranteed ready in 5 minutes or your next one's free.
Through the magic of remote control
at Snow Country's January ski clearance.
And I'm taking up to 50% off selected ski clothing.
Wrong channel, Mitch. I'm not taking up to 50% off ski clothing with some of the best skiing still ahead.
But I'm also taking up to 50% off selected ski equipment.
Mitch, there's not a remote possibility of taking up to 50% off ski equipment this early.
Skiers, don't be turned off. See me for up to 50% off during Snow Country's January ski clearance.
And before we leave, we share some of the stories coming up tonight at 11 from News Source 13.
With Arthur Shawcross in custody and word of previous manslaughter convictions, the death penalty issue is again gaining local attention. Charlotte Stevens will have that report.
And our man in Panama, Gary Nuremberg, reports on reaction from a congressional delegation following their trip to that country this week.
The Bills and the Browns, more in tomorrow's playoff matchup with Mike Catalana tonight at 11. But first, we're going to take one more look at our forecast.
No problems if you're going to be out on the roads tonight. We'll find mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures down into the 20s. The sun will make a return by tomorrow afternoon, high about 35.
All right, thanks, Glenn.
Well, finally, as we did last night, we close our broadcast with the thoughts of a relative of one of the victims of Rochester's serial killer. We do so as we share the faces of those victims. We do so without judgment of lifestyle, but rather value of life. I'm not condoning how she lived, said the relative, but no one should have to die like that.